On today's very special episode, we discuss Sony's recent announcement of the PlayStation 4, the games and tech demos on display, and a number of other revelations, shocking or otherwise. All of this and more on today's Gaming Soon.
Hello and welcome back to another Gaming Soon. We are your hosts, Kelatia, as you can tell by the beanie, the brains of this operation.
And I'm Alarico, the bum of the operation.
Glad to know you finally know your place in this show. Anyways, today's episode is going to be very special because we're going to be talking about what happened yesterday at the big Sony press conference.
The big Sony press conference.
Yes, and if you don't know, the PlayStation 4 was announced, but since you're all gamers, you should have already know about it.
If you're watching this, then chances are, you already know about it.
Yeah. And I gotta say, it wasn't bad, but I wasn't really impressed by it.
Not to mention they didn't even show the console or price point.
Yeah, I know, like, you would think that for the big unveiling of the PlayStation 4, or any console for that matter, you would at least show off what the console looks like, or at least what the prototype of it was.
I can only assume they're saving that for E3, so people actually have a reason to come to the Sony press conference.
Yeah, but you would think that people would go to E3 to check out games for the system you're announcing yesterday.
Well, E3 is about not just the games.
Well, I mean, I know it's not about the game, but like I said, if your focus is going to be on a brand new console, like, show off the console, like, come on, like, we do know from the official specs that they're gonna have like Blu-ray drives, an 8-core processor, and a very advanced GPU. So it's not
And according to Sony's own pictures, apparently it's also run by human brain.
no, that's the PlayStation 9. Yeah, I know, 4 9 confused you.
No, they had a picture of a human brain at like the very end of the thing, and like, it's such a weird picture to put.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, well, let's talk a little bit more about the system itself. The controller they really showed off at the conference. Like, obviously DualShock 4, Natural Evolution. Like, the big difference is that it has like a touchpad under it, similar to like the reused gamepad, only the touchpad and not a touchscreen.
And it also apparently doubles as a move controller.
Yes, because of the big blue lights on the back. Like, I don't care about the move, other than like a couple of arcade shooters. I'm sure the majority of gamers feel the same way, but like I would say, not a whole lot of people care about it. But at least this time around, the move is going to be like integrated with the system instead of just being an add-on like it was with the PS3. So it may have a better chance with the PlayStation 4.
For the likely price point that's going to be sporting a goddamn more better.
It should be like, the price points haven't been announced yet, but rumors has it they're probably going to be like $430 for the cheapest model and $500 for the more expensive one. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to get it at that price point because it was hard enough for me to get the Wii U at $350. It's probably going to be an even bigger sell for me to get a PlayStation 4 at this point.
Right. That's why I think that the Wii U is probably going to win this console war this generation because of how cheap it is.
Yeah, but let's see what Microsoft has to offer first before we jump to that kind of conclusion.
Right, but what can Microsoft offer that would be cheaper than either of them? That they aren't already offering.
I don't know, but well, we don't have to wait and see about that.
Honestly, after some of the announcements that they made at the conference, which got better towards the end, thank God, but after some of the conferences, I think Microsoft's probably crapping their pants right now, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
so they're going to have to pull something out at E3 or something real soon in order to overshadow that, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Killer Instinct 3!
I don't even think that would save it.
No, but it will at least help boost morale for Microsoft.
I don't know. I think the fact that Sony managed to make an alliance with Blizzard of all people.
We'll talk about that later on in the end. Like,
oh, you don't want to talk about that now?
we'll talk about it towards the end, but like, there's like a few other things I want to talk about. You know, I want to like, you know, go on a linear path here. I follow the press conference of Sony. And anyways, Sony also finally gave us a reason why they purchased Gaikai last year for like almost $1 billion. For streaming! Ooh. Streaming PS1, 2, and 3 games because apparently the system itself does not have any dedicated hardware for backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I think that's kind of stupid to be completely honest with you.
Exactly, like, I mean, it can't be hard to emulate a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 game in this day and age. I mean, even back in the Dreamcast day, it wasn't so hard to emulate a PlayStation 1 system.
Right. And the funny thing is, they already admitted it's still running on Blu-ray, so why is it so difficult to emulate PlayStation 3 games? Like, that just kind of boggles my mind. It seems they're not really selling me on it.
Yeah, and here's the real kicker about this here, that the PS4 will not honor any PSN purchases you made on the PS3 either, unless you do it through their streaming service.
Which is another strike against them in my opinion.
Like, I'm glad Sony is finally doing something with their investments, but they're using it kind of like the wrong way. Like, you shouldn't be using it as a replacement for backwards compatibility. You should be using it as a supplement, yeah, I don't know, like streaming games that people haven't purchased yet on the hardware side or on the PSN side, but not, you know, using it to like cover up your mistake of not having dedicated software or hardware for backwards compatibility.
I don't really think it was like a mistake. I feel like it was a conscious choice on their part. I mean, they already screwed up, in my opinion, with the PS3 by not making it backwards compatible with PlayStation 2 games. That was a big mistake.
Yeah.
But the fact that now they're making it so you can't play any of the other games that you already have, like, that just seems like a really bad business move to me.
Like, exactly, like, it's already gonna be expensive, and there's probably not gonna be a whole lot of games for launch lined up, which once again we'll talk about later, so having been able to play your old PlayStation games would have been a huge plus, but I don't think people will be able to do that. They're going to go through Gaikai, especially since there's still a huge amount of people in this world who don't even have like acceptable broadband speeds.
Right. Not to mention, there's also some people that have the broadband speeds that are limited. Like they have a limited amount of data. I mean, I'll pay the extra 10, 20, 30 bucks in order to have the backwards compatibility. That's something that I would be willing to pay for in a PlayStation 4 because that would give me access to a huge library from the previous 3 consoles. It just seems like a missed opportunity to me, and again, it seems like a really bad business move.
Yes, so anyways, like, we're very disappointed at what Sony is doing with Gaikai and backward compatibility, but maybe they'll get their hair straight later on and maybe release an emulation mode for PlayStation 1 and 2
I'm sure they will.
before their official release this holiday.
Right.
Before we move on, I know I said we want to try to do this like in a linear fashion, but
right.
The one more thing I want to talk about before we get to some of the games, and that the Media Molecule part of the conference.
I didn't pay much attention to that. I don't know it.
Okay, well, I found the overall presentation of that segment to be arrogant.
Arrogant? In what fashion?
One of the presenters on stage talked about how the PlayStation 4 is gonna improve gaming. He goes on to say how polygons are making it so hard for developers to be so creative that he coined it as the tyranny of the polygons. And
I remember that.
yeah, I'm thinking to myself, how arrogant do you have to be to call a staple of game development evil? Like, your first PlayStation pretty much used polygons to make up for the fact you couldn't do 2D as well as all the other systems. Like, are you really gonna go down that route and say polygons are the evil in gaming?
Well, maybe he feels that the polygon being like a staple of game development, as you said, like maybe he feels like that's staunching creativity, and maybe that's why he said it. But I will agree that the way he threw it out there was pretty arrogant.
Yeah, like I treated like almost exactly what I just said on Twitter, and I had a few people agree with me on that. So,
Right.
but you know what? I would have given the guy, the benefit of the doubt to see how he could be creative without the polygons. And like the big thing that stuck out to me was the music land thing that they're doing. Like, really, you gonna show us how creative you can be by ripping off music?
Well, you know what they say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
I guess, but here's the thing. Nobody liked Wii music. Like, nobody liked that presentation. What made Media Molecule so special that they can think they can do a better job at it?
Maybe because they think they can do a better job at it. That just seems logical to me.
Well,
it's like, well... But I will admit where you're coming from, because like if Miyamoto probably can't pull it off, then like what are the odds that Media Molecule is gonna pull it off and do it better,
Like,
and more well received overall?
yeah, like what I don't get is where this kind of arrogance is coming from, because like what I can really tell from these developers, the only real games they ever done was the Little Big Planet series, and I will admit they're fun and creative, but if you're only doing like one set of games, like that doesn't give you really that excuse to be so arrogant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like maybe if you had a few more games under your belt, then yeah, but no, not with Little Big Planet.
Yeah, I think maybe in this particular case they might be stretching their limits just a little bit.
Yeah. Oh well, anyway, let's talk about the thing that could help the PlayStation 4 be more successful, and that is the games.
Right.
Like the majority of the games they showed up was more or less just, prototypes or like tech demos and such, but I think they're still like, impressive for a system. Like the Killzone Sky Doom, what's it called? Shadow Doom.
Well, it's called Killzone: The Next Generation.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Hey, somebody was gonna do that when you brought that up, and like I said, it seems more like a tech demo than an actual game, but at the same time, like I think it should show up the capabilities of the PS4 quite nicely and such.
Right. Not to mention, I'm not gonna take the Killzone in-game footage seriously. Not after the PS3's fiasco.
Yeah, like, oh, this is in-game footage. E3 2005. 3 years
nothing
later,
like it.
It looks like it was 3 years ago.
Exactly.
Like,
so that's why I'm taking it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, but still, I think with the horsepower that the PS4 have, they should be able to get, closer to that footage than what Killzone 2 was.
Killzone 2 was an over-glorified tech demo.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
And then, like, a big announcement that came out of it was a company you were trying to mention earlier.
Oh, Blizzard?
Yes,
Yeah.
and they announced Diablo 3, not just for the PS4, but also for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty impressive. Like, I feel like that announcement is gonna make Microsoft kind of look at themselves and be like, well, what the hell do we have now besides Halo and that we can do? Because like Destiny's not gonna be just 360. They don't have Blizzard, who hasn't done like a console outing since the original PlayStation when they did Diablo, and that blew. Like, I thought it was kind of odd that Blizzard decided to come back into it
Yeah,
Now?
when I first heard Blizzard was gonna be a PlayStation 4 developer, I'm like joking around about saying like, oh, what are they gonna put over? Diablo 3 or something? And when they like announced that, like, I called it, bitches.
I was waiting for them to be like, World of Warcraft 2, aha, you can come.
Like, World of Warcraft would have been a bad announcement too, but
Well, considering that the consoles seem to be getting more MMOs, then that wouldn't have honestly surprised me. But considering that they just graphically facelifted World of Warcraft recently, I didn't see them. That seemed kind of unlikely. But yeah, you called it, I called it Diablo 3.
yeah, like
I'm not surprised.
Diablo 3 was not a bad game. I did enjoy it on PC.
Right.
I saw some guy from China who also tried to hack them, like saying, no thank you, Blizzard. Like, I was able to get the account back and such, but
Yeah, the same thing happened to me, and I haven't played since then. It's been
Yeah, so-
8-9 months now, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Blizzard, if you're gonna do Diablo 3 on consoles, please do not put it in the auction house. Just please, like,
You can
do
it-
some
do it anyway.
just retool your game to whatever you need to for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, but
You know they're gonna-
please don't put it in the auction house. That's why there was like so much problem with the PC version.
I thought the in-game gold auction house, where you actually spend the in-game gold to
Okay.
get items, that's okay.
Okay,
But when we're starting to get into like actual money, that's when the big problem arises. But I think we're getting a little too deep into Diablo 3.
yeah, okay, like, okay, like, so if you are gonna do auction house, just please make it gold only, no real money.
Right.
And the last game we're gonna talk about is Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. That was pretty much the only thing that came out of the conference that actually grabbed me.
Yeah, that actually looked like gameplay.
Right. Well, I mean, if it was a tech demo, they did a really fucking good job of making it look
Well-
like gameplay.
Well, I'm sure.
but
it
I'm
was-
pretty sure it's gameplay.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was not tech demo because
Right.
they did show off some gameplay at last year's E3.
Right.
But still, I like the graphic looks. I like how the gameplay was. You know what? And if it was just for the PlayStation 4, that could have moved quite a bit of consoles. But you know what? It's multi-platform.
Right.
So if I really do want to grab Watch Dogs, there's not really a whole lot of reason for me to go ahead and pick up the PS4 version when I can go on ahead and get a PlayStation 3 or even the Wii U version,
Right.
which was just announced.
Well, I'd imagine the PS4 version is going to be the prettier version,
Yeah.
but like I don't know if it's actually coming out for PC. I'm gonna assume it is, but
Well,
what's
it's coming out for everything else. Why not PC?
Right, but why not pick it up on PC, which is going to run it like a PS4 would, but better?
Well, I was thinking
There's no real motivation for me to get a PS4 just to play Watch Dogs. If it was an exclusive, maybe, but that just seems like a really bad business move on their part, and it's good for them to not have done that.
Yeah,
In my honest opinion.
like I would probably pick it up for the Wii U myself if I wanted it because of all the potential you can have with the touchpad and all the hacking that you do throughout the game.
Right. I thought that was pretty cool. But probably the strangest part of the show, besides Watch Dogs, which I think it's a unanimous decision that is the best part of the show.
Yeah.
But the weirdest part of the show, not considering the dancing puppet music knockoff, was that infamous side story game that they came up with. Like, at first it started.
Well, I didn't catch that part of the press
didn't?
conference because I was at work. But what is it about Infamous that makes it so weird?
But like the way they presented it at first, like it felt like they were trying to like give like a government like an anti-government agenda. It's like, ooh, we're being watched and blah blah blah, and it's like, but then people are gonna come up and stop the people that are watching, and that's essentially what the Infamous trailer is. It looks good. It was just a trailer. It wasn't really like gameplay footage or anything. It looks good, but just the way they opened up and then like the way, it was just really, really weird. Like, it was so out of place in a show like that. In a show that already felt like it was for the shareholders to tell them that it's a good idea for them to come out with the PS4. so that their stocks don't nosedive, because that's personally what the whole meeting looked like to me. E3 is going to be for the gamers. The actual meeting itself felt like it was for the shareholders, and now I feel like that's why
for the shareholders, but the press was invited too.
Right. That's why it felt more like. That's why it felt like it wasn't really aimed towards us. Why there was so little gameplay. Why there was so little convincing going on. Like it was like, here's the controller, woo, and it's like the controller is fucking ugly. I mean, I hate to say it.
Yeah, I don't like the design of the analog sticks myself. And while we're back on the subject of controllers, what's the start button on that thing?
It's probably going to be part of the touchpad.
If that's the case, that's a very stupid move.
I don't know. Well,
like, anyway, that's our overall thoughts on the PlayStation 4 press conference.
Right.
Wasn't bad. Could have been better, and it should have been the time where you could have showed off what the console looks like, but it still gives you a taste of what to expect from the system, and I'm sure there's going to be more information at E3 this year.
Right. It should have been straightforward, but again, they were probably saving stuff for E3. I can't say I blame them. And then, like I said, it didn't feel like the meeting was for us.
Yeah, so, well, that's it for this week's Gaming Soon. Catch you in the next 2 weeks or so. Yep.
Hopefully there'll be some new stuff. Then we have E3 coming up soon. Hopefully somebody coming out of that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fairly soon.
So anyways, we'll catch you gamers next time.
You guys have a great day.